This is the Cubs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs Postcast here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. The Cubs win 2-1 against the Marlins. They win the series. So after a heartbreaker in the first one, you get a blowout and then a nail-biter in the third game of the series to round this thing out. But most importantly, the Cubs won. They won the series, and they continue to roll through this stretch of teams where they're not playing a lot of very good baseball teams. So you just got to keep winning the games that are in front of you. Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. Let's get right into it today with our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Player of the game here is simple. Kyle Tucker. He brings in all the Cubs runs in this one. So you see back-to-back days with 3 hits in that first game of the series. They showed the graphic during the broadcast. This is important to mention, I think, again. He had 3 balls put into play, all of them with 100-mile-per-hour exit velocity. All 3 were outs in that game, but he gets the home run to start the game off today in the first inning, and then he brings in Matt Shaw later in the game, who continues to also just make an immediate impact on the Cubs. Matt Shaw today goes 1 for 2, but most importantly, he gets the walk, the stolen base, and then Tucker brings him home. Yes, the ball is misplayed in left field, but honestly, I think they would have sent Shaw there anyways, specifically because they sent Michael Busch, who was thrown out by a country mile. It was a wild decision. That was not even close. One of the worst decisions I think we've seen so far this year, but whatever. Doesn't matter because the Cubs won. The player of the game, though, it's Kyle Tucker. This is important. Kyle Tucker was going through it. I mean, at one point, he was hitting like 183 over 19 games. We saw a lot of, close hits, in the last week leading up into this series, and then 2 games in a row with back-to-back 3-hit games, 2 games in a row with a home run. Finally, just feels like Kyle Tucker is getting this thing going again because it was a struggle bus. And we've talked about it on this show. Matt and Sam have talked about it on the broadcast. Kyle Tucker has talked about it. He was hitting a lot of balls on the ground. Just wasn't really elevating anything coming his way. And we see now that he's doing that again, really positive things are happening. I mean, even the one out he had today was a screamer itself. So if he can get back on track, it just adds to what the Cubs can be. And this is a team that's 10 games above 500 that is now going to be, 3 games in front of the Cardinals unless they pull a miracle comeback in the 9th inning. And they'll be, starting to put themselves in position to really just keep it going this year. And that's important because all the injuries that the pitching staff has faced between Shota and Justin Steele and Porter Hodge, you need your lineup to more often than not come through in the clutch. Your lineup also, what also was important for this game was the defense. We're going to talk about the defense here for a little bit because we're going to talk about Cade Horton too, what we saw from him in this game. They made some spectacular plays, really, and some plays that were close to spectacular that were also near misses. I mean, we'll start with Dansby Swanson. That play in the first inning, he nearly gets that ball, was a great play. Ian Happ, the double that happened that led to a run scoring. That ball touches off his glove. But we see great plays from Matt Shaw, even though the first one there on the spinning stop and throw, the throw was a little wide. That one was tough. We saw a great diving stop by Nico Hoerner, who now back-to-back Cade Horton starts, has bailed him out of tough situations. So the defense, even though, yes, it could have made a couple extra Gold Glove level plays, really was spectacular in this game and helped keep Cade from unraveling in this game because he had a lot of runners in scoring position. The Marlins had much better opportunities to score in this game than the Cubs did. I mean, the Cubs didn't have, it felt like a runner in scoring position, honestly, until Matt Shaw was on second base with that stolen bag that he had. So your defense came through, Kyle Tucker came through, and again, Matt Shaw, what we're seeing from him, the immediate return is so positive. Having multi-hit games in the first 2 games of the series. He has 3 doubles in 3 days. We saw the speed, we saw the arm, we saw the glove, everything from Matt Shaw. Just hopefully this is what is just going to continue to be for him. If him and Kyle Tucker can bring to this lineup what they have the last 3 days with what everyone else has already been doing over the last month, they can really just keep this thing rolling at an elite level, no matter what's happening with the pitching situation. And we'll get to Horton and we'll get to Palencia closing this game out, because I can see a couple people here in the YouTube chat looking like they're feeling a little nervous with Palencia on the mound there in the ninth. But just again, this is an overall very positive day from those two guys specifically. The rest of your lineup didn't do much. You needed Kyle Tucker to come through in the way that he did. I mean, you look up and down the box score here. Ian Happ, no hits. Suzuki, 1 hit. Pete Crow-Armstrong, no hits. Michael Busch, the double that I thought was a homer. Dansby Swanson, 1 hit. Nico, nothing. Miguel Amaya gets the 1 hit where it could have brought in Michael Busch, but again, Michael Busch thrown out by a million miles. And then Matt Shaw, 1 for 2 with a walk and the run scored in this game. So you weren't getting major contributions. The only guy with more than 1 hit is Kyle Tucker. And this is the kind of game that you need from Kyle Tucker, because this is what you have superstars in your lineup for, is that when you have a team that your offense isn't just getting it, it's just not going in a game, you need someone to come through in clutch situations. And he started the game off that way, and then bringing home Shaw like that. That's what this guy's here for. This is why he's going to get a $500 million contract in this offseason. I know he's been scuffling. I said on yesterday's show, I think some of the stuff said about Kyle Tucker recently has been absolutely insane by Cubs fans. I mean, he is a superstar level player, and he proved in a game like today why he's a guy that you want to build around and have on your team for 10 years, because when you need him most, he was right there. And that's what they needed in this game. All right, when we get back, we'll talk about Daniel Palencia, his closing, his second career save that we saw, and what we saw overall from Cade Horton. That's all coming up next year on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. If you ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, so you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. We all know it's easy to have multiple apps doing different things, and that can be a pain. If all of it's right there for you so you can track all your investments, your spending, budgeting, everything in one place, why not use Monarch Money? Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, let's start in reverse order here. Let's start with Daniel Palencia. So Daniel Palencia comes out there. He is going to be the closer, it seems like, until Porter Hodge returns. I don't think we're going to see Ryan Presley back in that role at any point. But 3 hits, I would say 2 of the 3 were hard contact, all of them pretty much to the warning track. I was a little surprised to see him out there today just because of what Craig Counsell said recently about how tired he was. I was just curious, honestly, like who was going to be the guy. But he has to be. Daniel Palencia has to be the guy right now. That to me is like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, I agree with this comment here from Nathan here. Needs some swing and miss. Honestly, that could be for Palencia or for Cade Horton at this point. But you need Palencia to come out there and really fill this role nicely, because you start the season with Presley, you move to Hodge, he's out, you're not going back to Presley. Palencia has to be the guy. He is, to me, now one of the most important players on this team as the team moves forward through this next stretch, as you're still playing teams that are either right at 500 or still below over this 21-game stretch. That's supposed to be pretty easy, and they've only lost 2 games so far. They're, 7-2 in these first 9 games. So Palencia's got to be someone that can go out there and be in control, get the swing and miss. I mean, that it wasn't an out, obviously. It was right before he got the loud pop-out to Ian Happ. But that paint that he's throwing there, 100 miles per hour right on the corner, he throws so much gas. He does have the build, I feel like, when I see what I want a closer to look like. Now, I like Porter Hodge. I know it's mostly one bad outing that's really inflated his ERA this year. But when I do look at Daniel Palencia, I do see a guy he screams closer. He screams someone that, because of the gas that he can throw, he can go out there and he can fill that void, whether it's now or it's in the future, or if he's just your 8th inning guy going forward when Hodge comes back. So this to me is a key kind of trial period for him, just to continue to see his growth there. In a game like today where like he's not getting the swing and miss, just can he get the outs that are in front of him? I'm going to say yes, I think so. But we got a long way to go for how long Porter Hodge is going to be out here. Now we see Cade Horton. He gets his third start of this season. This is a start that I would label like a little bit up and down. Now he walks his first 3 batters in his career, had not walked anyone in his first 2 games that he pitched. He goes 5 1/3, gives up 6 hits, 3 walks, only 3 strikeouts there, but only 1 earned run. So let's start with the strikeout stuff. This was talked about on our last postcast show when after Cade started. And I know Matt and Sam have been talking about this as well. The swing and miss is not there just yet. I'm not worried about it. I think it'll be there. A little surprised based on, look, I know it's minor league batting, but some of that stuff tends to at least translate a little bit into the bigs, and so far just hasn't. He just is not getting the big time swing and miss. Now, some of that is probably control, maybe being a little bit predictable on the mound, it feels like, but we see Cade Horton go out there again, 5 1/3, only gives up 1 earned run, but he got that help from the defense. And that's to me where I want to give another shout out to Nico Horner, that diving stop that he had when you've got the bases juiced, and that thing could have unraveled in a big way. So you get good plays from defense. But if you look more at that inning, this is where I think is important too for Cade Horton here. So you go to that inning, so the bottom of the first, right off the gate. So you get the tough play for Dansby. Wagaman gets a single, so it's first and second with 1 out. You get the ground out to Horton, so it's second and third with 2 outs. He gets the walks. His base is loaded. You get the rocket to Shaw, who makes a great play again, but the throw is off target. So it's 1-1 with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. And then Nico makes the great stopping play. But then again, the second inning, Paulie hits the double over Ian Happ's head, who just missed it. But Dansby, great diving stop for an infield single, doesn't result in an out. He immediately gets the double play, hit right back to him. Cade Horton does, and then he gets the pop out to end the inning. So 2 situations there, high level, high stress for Cade Horton. Not having his best stuff, but gets out of it. That to me is also very important. That Cade can go out there, he's not striking guys out yet. So this is something that I'm enjoying seeing out of him in kind of a weird way. Yes, you want to see guys go up there and strike out a bunch of dudes, but the fact that he's kind of battling through, some of these outings where he's giving up early home runs, he's getting guys on base, and he's not unraveling, to me says a lot about his demeanor that's out there. And we saw, Tommy Hotovy come out there with the bases juiced in the first just to talk him into the situation and walk him through it. But he seems to just be handling that really well. So I would say overall through 3 starts from Cade Horton, like I wouldn't give him an A because it hasn't been like dazzling or anything like that. But I give him like a really solid B+ for what he's done as a member of the Cubs so far. Besides the home runs, it's really been good. And again, this is his first game giving up any walks in his career. So, and that's important. Like you need him to, again, with these injuries, just like the lineup and the defense, Cade is an important part of the rest of this season with Steele out, and who knows really how long Shota's out. I know they said well into June, but that could be more than a month from now. I mean, it's May 21st right now. That could be June 30th for all we know, for well into June. Comment here on the YouTube chat. Nico Horner should win a Gold Glove. Absolutely. He leads all second basemen. They threw this stat up on the broadcast. All second basemen with runs saved. And again, he's saved Horton twice. The last start was the jumping catch. That was phenomenal. And then a diving catch today from a diving stop from Nico. So he's gotten some help. But yeah, Nico has played great defense this year at second base. Was a little surprised that we did see Kyle Tucker DH again today. I know that Craig Counsell talked about it before the game, that this is going to be something maybe we see more often. I think Seiya has maybe earned some trust in the outfield a little bit more, but just to give Tucker some days off from having to be in the field, seeing him DH back-to-back days, what's interesting is he has 6 hits and 2 home runs in these days. Now, I struggle with the idea of a $500 million baseball player is a designated hitter. I think you have to play in the field to be really worth that, unless you're Shohei Ohtani, but he's also supposed to pitch at some point in his career again. So not that I want Tucker to be the DH, but if he feels comfortable DHing, because we know some guys don't, it does give you some flexibility, and I think they're going to need it because between Happ, Suzuki, and Tucker, you could kind of create this rotation to where those guys are in the field and DHing now that Seiya has proved himself in left field. And then PCA is definitely going to just play center field for 162 games at this point in the season, unless he, knock on wood, gets hurt at any point in the year. So this is a good win for the Cubs. Look, tight games, haven't had a lot of those this year. Feels like Cubs games have either been a blowout or getting blown out, or a disaster. There hasn't been these just like traditional, feels like a lot of these low score baseball games where you're grinding it out from your bullpen, your pitching staff, everybody, and your lineup having to come through and clutch hits. And they did all of that. So the Cubs are 7-2 to start this easy stretch of baseball, beating the Marlins 2 out of 3 times, twice, and sweeping the White Sox. And they're 10 games above 500 at this point in this season. That's going to do it for us for today's show. Remember, hit that subscribe button to the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. We're here after every single game. If you're new to the show for the first time as well, if you're not subscribed, also on wherever you get your audio platforms, your audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, you can find us there as well. So thanks for watching. We will talk to you on Friday with the Cubs having an off day on Thursday. We'll see you later. Go Cubs. Peace.